All right. What is up, guys? So today I woke up and I saw that the term map is trending in the United States from my buddy Tipster. Right? I think it's Tipster, actually. Okay, I'm following them. I mean, I don't know. There's like so many fake Tipster accounts out there. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, the term map is trending in the United States because there's a new season of Dora the Explorer coming out soon, and she has the map. Mappa. Is that what it is? I don't know. Anyway, that was a joke, which probably doesn't work very well considering Dora would be somebody that maps are interested in. Anyway, for those of you who don't know, I actually verified this myself. I know I'm a boomer, but I actually found it. I was like, wow, it's actually trending. I was surprised. I know where it comes from. It comes from the Libs of TikTok page. They made, they put up a clip of it, and we're going to watch, it's an individual that's in some, it's a licensed counselor and therapist, For those of you who don't know, a map is a term that was created to replace the P word, a pedo. And what it stands for is minor attracted person. Now, my first understanding, the first time I was exposed to this word was a while ago, where trolls were trying to create maps and add them into the LGBTQ, which is actually done to try to be diminishing of LGBTQ people. See, they look at who they're accepting. That was actually the origin of it, is to be, I guess, phobic in some capacity. And it probably started before that. Sorry, my hair is a little bit of a mess. It probably started before that as like an actual movement, which I disagree with, and we're going to go into the specifics though. And then it was probably taken by, I don't know, the trolls known as 4chan. I don't know, something like that. Anyway, let's watch this video here, because there is actually a nuanced conversation to have about this topic, especially if you're somebody who wants to keep kids safe. There is a conversation to have here, an uncomfortable conversation. But it's a conversation we have to have if you want the outcome to be less children being hurt. So let's watch this. This is licensed counselor and sex therapist advocates for MAPS, minor attracted persons. She says they are vilified and marginalized and shouldn't be referred to as pedophiles. So let's get this going.
This is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are...
I wonder if this was in a school or what. Where does this even come from, I wonder?
Probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture.
Good.
And most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them.
Okay.
And those assumptions create harm for an already marginalized population.
Personally, not really big into the... I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Nobody chooses to have this attraction. That's the reality here. Nobody's like, oh, yes, I want it. No, of course not. But I don't know how I feel about calling them marginalized, I don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable. But I'll keep hearing this person out.
You may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons, sometimes abbreviated to MAPS, instead of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people.
That's true. A lot of people like to say that about people who aren't attracted to young people. Right? Because they're fucking dumb and annoying. Let's be honest here. But also, people use the word disparagingly on somebody. Sure. Okay.
In order to harm them or slander them.
That's true.
I also prefer person first language that recognizes that any label we might apply to a person.
Come on. So person first language is like when you call somebody that has autism, you say a person with autism or a person that is fat. I don't know. It's supposed to be like person first language to be more respectful. It's because that person is a person first and then their identity comes second, right? And fundamentally, I think a lot of people like that, right? Sure, it makes sense. A person who is gay instead of a gay person. I mean, I personally just don't really give that much of a shit. I don't think it matters that much, but I understand the logic, right? I understand the logic. My wife's a behavioral specialist for adults with intellectual disabilities. She talks about person first language, so I understand it, and it makes sense, but I just don't care about people. I don't really care about people who are attracted to kids. I don't care. Only make sure I'm right. Oh, excuse me, sir. Minor attracted person. I want to make sure I respect you. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't. I know that it's not your fault that you have this. In fact, there's probably a lot of people who are attracted to young people, unfortunately, that are attracted through like a traumatic experience. Like some of the people who are attracted to kids were like molested themselves, right? It's a terrible thing. I understand nobody chooses it, but I'm just not super empathetic to people that attraction
is only part of who they are and doesn't represent everything that they are.
Okay.
We are all people first with many different facets or parts of ourselves.
Sure.
And this includes folks who are attracted to minors. Okay. So to start with, let's talk about what a minor attracted person is or who they are. This term simply means that the person has an enduring sexual or romantic attraction to minors. They've not chosen this attraction, just as the rest of us have not chosen whatever our attraction is. You don't get to choose to be heterosexual or to be gay or whatever you are.
That is true.
And you don't get to choose to be a minor attracted person. Some minor attracted persons are attracted to a specific age range of minors, while some are not. Wow. And some minor attracted persons are exclusively attracted to minors and are not attracted to adults at all. Some minor attracted persons are also attracted to adults.
Okay, that's the end of the clip. Here's the thing. All right. If you asked me 2 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, let's send them all to an island. However, I've been educating myself on the topic, and what comes first to me is the protection of children, obviously. I think that everybody here would agree with that. And so here's the thing. First of all, if you've ever harmed a child in this capacity, there's no hope for you. I don't really care. I think that, personally, I am okay with a capital punishment in some instances. This is one of them. However, for somebody who has not offended and has these urges, I think it would be a good idea to create a space for them to come forward, not to me or to you, but to mental health counselors to be able to control their urges before they act on them. My understanding is that the recovery rate or whatever it's from offending people is very low, but I feel like fundamentally for anybody, if you haven't committed an act, like if you have like a propensity or to gamble, but you haven't gambled yet, like if you have some kind of let's say something like your father or something is like big gambler, because there's some people who I think that there's like biological triggers where like they just get addicted to things, addictive personalities. If you're somebody who's like your whole family's like addicted to gambling, but you don't gamble, there's probably a better chance that you'll stay away from gambling than if you gambled and then tried to stop, right? Same thing for like drugs or alcohol. Like if you have alcoholics in the family and you drink alcohol, you probably have a hard chance of stopping. But if you never drank before, you'd probably have a better chance, right? A much better chance. And so that's kind of my logic. So if you're somebody who hasn't committed, we should create spaces for therapists, not me, because I personally don't care about. I don't care about the people who have the attraction. I'm sorry, but to have them come forward and get help that they need before they offend. And the reason is because that way, it seems, in my opinion, there'd be a lower amount of children getting harmed. Right? If you can target the source, the people who haven't actually committed yet, and you can get them to control their urges and not do it, less children will get hurt. That's my whole line of logic, right? That's it. So I don't know if I'd go as far as to relabel people maps. Personally, I think I don't know. I'm okay with a certain amount of shame. I personally don't really care about the people with the urges. I feel bad for them because they didn't choose the urge. But like, I'm not as focused on them as I'm focused on like young people that would get harmed by them. And so again, the whole line of logic here is like, hey, if we can get people that have these urges that haven't committed, and then go to like a therapist or a mental health counselor, and they can help them monitor their urges and control them and stop them and handle them before they do something, then we're reducing the amount of children that are getting harmed. The alternative is if we continue to like super vilify people like this, P words, then they won't feel comfortable enough to come forward to a therapist and control their urges, and then they'll end up committing. They probably have a higher chance of committing. That's the whole line of logic. Personally, the thing that like bothers me the most about the people I've seen that talk about this, it just feels, I don't know, maybe I'm just being emotional, but it feels too friendly towards people. that have these urges. I get it. You didn't want it in the first place. Nobody chose that, right? Nobody chose to have that. Just like nobody chooses to be like gay or straight, like they said. Like honestly, think about this: who would choose to be attracted to like men, for instance? Like what's a mental disorder, right? Who would choose that? But no, people don't choose her, and I get it. But I have a hard time giving a fuck about people that have urges like this. But again, if we focus on the outcome being less harm to kids, I think that we can like take a deep breath and go like, okay, this makes me super uncomfortable. But if it does reduce the amount of harm that comes to kids, then I think that we've won. And that's really my primary focus here, more than anything else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as the map thing too, I don't really like it because it at this point it's like it feels like a little too within proximity of to an identification in like the LGBTQ. You know what I mean? I don't like that because I feel like that's not a good for people in the LGBTQ community because this is like a mental disorder, right? Like actually, not like a joking one, like being attracted to men. Like this is actually like it's harmful. Like you can't like being gay is not harmful. Like oh I want to sleep with somebody that's the same sex or whatever gender was me. Okay, nobody's getting hurt. Consensual. You can't consent. A kid can't consent, so it's harmful. It can be very toxic and harmful to. I will be to a kid. Yeah. So I just wanted to make that point. A little bit of a nuanced point. So yes, thanks for watching, guys. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.